Okay, here's your answer for that. Alright, next one. Factor this one, pause video. Here's your answer for that. Next one. Factor this one, pause video. And here's your answer for that one. Alright, last question, example 5. I'm going to skip the word problem in this section, so let's think about how to approach this problem. Step number 1, we want to get everything equal to 0. We are solving this polynomial to the 5th power. Okay, we're not used to doing that. So let's make everything equal to 0 here. So we got 3x to the 5th, and then we're going to move this over on this side, so we're going to subtract it. So minus 18x cubed, and we can still have plus 15x equals 0. Next, you notice 3, 18, 15, you can pull out a 3, and you can pull out x fifth, x third, x, you can pull out an x. So let's pull out a GCF at step 2. And we get x to the 4th here, we get minus 6x squared, and we get plus 5 here equals 0. Now, the only way you know how to do this so far is to factor, so this thing has to factor. But it's x to the 4th power, x squared. Once again, if you get something like this, you want to think to yourself, is this thing in quadratic form? No, it's not a quadratic, but is it in that form? So here's what I do. Instead of x to the 4th, I say, well, x to the 4th is x squared squared. I'm making that a square. And then I say minus 6x squared plus 5. Okay, now look at that right there. This is where I see, notice these are the same. They have to be the same for me to do this next step. Instead of x squared, I'm going to say off to the side, u equals x squared. So instead of x squared, I'm going to put u. So I'm going to get u squared minus 6. Instead of x squared, I'm going to put u. And then I got plus 5. Now look at that. It's the same idea as before. This now looks like a quadratic, right? So let's factor it. U, let's see, factors of 5 add up to negative 6. So minus 5 and u minus 1. But u, remember, isn't really u. U is x squared. So we're going to have x squared minus 5 times x squared minus 1. Now we're missing something, right? We're missing the GCF up here, so don't ever forget that one. We got 3x times this times this. Still equals 0. Now you could factor this one more time, but in this case you really don't have to, because it doesn't ask for factoring. It just says what are the solutions. Now you remember zero product property. It says each of these things could be 0. A, B, or C could equal 0. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to say the first one, 3x could equal 0, or the next one, x squared minus 5 could equal 0, or the last one, x squared minus 1 could equal 0. That's the zero product property. Solve for the first one. This answer, divide by 3, x equals 0. Circle that one. That's part of our answer. Next one, plus 5, so x squared equals 5, which in turn, if you square root both sides, you get x equals plus or minus root 5. There is another answer. And lastly, plus 1, x squared equals 1. So x equals, if you square root both sides, plus or minus square root of 1 is just 1. There is your answer there. Now do you notice how many answers we have? We have 1, plus or minus makes 2 and 3, and then another plus or minus makes 4 and 5. We have 5 answers. Notice this. That was to the 5th power. That happens. If we add to the 4th power, we'd have 4 answers. Okay? So write your answers nice and neat. If you look up here, which one of those answers, all these 5 up here are your answers. Letter D. So we just use factoring to come up with, to help us find our solutions. So factoring and then the zero product property allowed us to find our solutions. Alright, let's try one.